like to start. What I wanted to talk about is firstly, I know we're all parents. We're working. We have all these things going on. Pero hindi ba, don't you feel like it's a full-time job to just be
A parent?
no, not even,
Oh.
a normal human being?
Natawa ako.
Kasi I'm dealing with nag-contemplate kasi ako after like nagka-wave na naman kami of sipon and
Yeah.
you know how crazy that goes, right? And I was like, grabe, in my 20s, I could literally climb a mountain na uminom the night before, may fever, diretso. Pero now, like, a fever is like, the world stops. And,
Yeah.
I mean, and because I wanted to ask, kasi obviously, I wanted to talk about our little hanash. So whether it's gaming, running, ano yung mga hanash natin now to make us baseline human beings? Ano yung mga number one hanash nyo?
Are you guys into sauna, cold plunge, whatever?
Oh my gosh. I wish, but it's so expensive to have that cold steam.
Shopee.
Talaga ba?
Yes.
Merong inflatable
link na.
thing.
Well, I agree with you about how a simple sickness can affect so much. Like I lost my voice just before this. And I lost it because Tuesday night, I had the deliverable for a client. So I was up till 1. I got the munchies. And I decided to eat shinramyun raw. With
What's that?
The spicy Korean
Okay.
instant noodles.
Okay.
Are you
Raw?
mean like out of the packet?
Out of the
Ganon?
pack with the spicy powder.
Wait,
Mas kagat.
noodles?
Yes.
Na raw?
Oo.
I've
yung-
never
yung hindi mo.
done that.
What? So
Talaga ba?
Parang pansit
Yeah.
canton na hindi mo
Oo,
lulutuin?
yes.
I've never tried that, but that sounds really good.
Yes. Very unhealthy.
Okay. And do you think that's what triggered that?
Yes. And I'm like, how many times in the past have I done all-nighters? Ito nga, hanggang 1 a.m. lang eh. Tapos, pause na. Alam mo yun?
yeah.
I know, right?
Oh my God.
Aging, I think, is a hanash.
It is.
I mean, it's a hanash, but also at the same time, not a hanash. Kasi there are so many good things about it. Like, I often look at younger people, not naman in a condescending way, but I was once like that. Na parang feeling ko, pag nandun ka, is there any other way to learn what I actually
Yes.
know in my latter years? Back then,
Yeah.
wala eh. Kailangan daanan mo talaga yung hanash parts.
Yeah.
Bago ka makarating dun sa, uy, wise na ako.
Yeah.
Pero
Yeah,
pagdating mo dun, oh my gosh, paubos na yung oras ko.
Oo, yes.
Ganun naman
totoo.
yung hanash mo, di ba?
I have a group chat with friends who have been friends for the past 25 years. And 3 of them are turning 40 this year. So they were asking me, what's it like as the only one who's 40 in the group chat, 41. And one of the things I said was, there's a lot less pressure I feel. Because in my 20s, I felt like I was working with this blank, pristine canvas. And the pressure to get it right, like every brushstroke has to be perfect. Because there's nothing on the canvas. The world is your oyster.
Yeah.
That's so much pressure. And now my canvas is bald. My canvas has holes. My canvas has so many things. So it's like, all right, let's just work it in, And the rough patches and the holes in the canvas are part of the design.
Yeah.
So I can paint more boldly, more freely now. Because it's not perfect.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean it's not beautiful or valuable.
Yeah.
Correct.
So that's what we talk about a lot, that we kind of love growing older.
Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I like that metaphor, the painting, kasi I read it recently in a book na parang instead of thinking of your life as like a puzzle, think of it as a painting. Kasi yung puzzle is like you have to do it exactly
There's a
this
right
way,
place for
diba?
every piece.
And
Yeah,
painting,
yeah.
it's just like, it's up to you
Yeah.
where you want to take it. So it's beautiful.
No.
Ako naman, like, through a lot of therapy, I realized na we have this ideal version of our youth. Like, you think about it, like, nung time na yun, I could, grabe babaw ng problema ko noon.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh my
Like,
God.
totoo eh. And
Iba rin yung pinag-aawayan nyo rin as a couple, ano?
I know.
Uy,
True. So true.
actually, kaya nga kami, like, nagkaroon na kami ng times mga, akin na yung aso! Ganyan mga, aalis na ako! Tas dahil lang,
Dahil lang-
because like I didn't reply or
No,
something.
because my dog peed on his carpet and then he was giving me a little bit of, stinky eye and I was like, kung hindi mo siya mahal, kukunin ko na siya.
Tapos ngayon, ano na, yung okay lang kahit saan sila umihi. Ganun.
Walang magte-text the whole day. Tapos parang, okay. So, ako, for me, I think it's about like realizing na life is so, when I look back and I miss, this is what I told them na being a parent kasi, it's just like everything you do matters.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I miss having stuff or being reckless na I could be an asshole for today or
Right.
pwede akong
Yeah.
tamad
Right.
today.
Right.
Right? Pero ngayon, it's like, sabi na sometimes, we end the day and like after a whole day of podcast, kids, we say like, wow, we're so tap out na tayo.
Yes,
super.
yes.
Yeah.
Nothing like being a parent also to just make you realize how limited you are. I think you don't really understand that pag wala ka pang responsibility na ganun. Eh. Parang kala mo kaya mo lahat. Which essentially naman, you have more time.
Yes.
Diba? So parang, this is why it makes you feel, it fools you to believe that you're invincible.
Yeah.
But then once the children come, dun ka nagkakaroon ng, ay teka muna, hindi ko pala pwedeng gawin lahat. Tsaka, bakit ko naman gagawin lahat?
Yun yung isa pa.
Yeah.
You realize na you don't want to do everything.
Yeah.
Like you're much more comfortable with saying no to stuff. Diba nga, hindi na nga FOMO. Pero joy of missing out na nga
Yes.
na.
JOMO.
That's not for me. And I'm not down on it. I see you like it. I'm glad you like it. I just know I've tried those things and it's not for me, So
Although, I will say
oh,
that it is also very healthy to acknowledge how much you miss
Oh, yeah.
being able to do everything that
Oh,
you want
yeah.
to do for
Yeah.
yourself. Kasi hindi rin naman healthy na isipin ko lang na, hindi kasi noble to eh, di ba? Meaningful tong alagaan ko
Yes.
yung mga anak ko, mahalin ko
Yes.
yung asawa ko, ayusin ko yung bahay ko.
I super agree.
Na
Yeah.
kailangan mo talagang, like last year, nag-decide ako na I will do the half marathon in Taipei.
Wow.
So all set na ako. Parang okay.
ito,
Nakapag-prepare na ako.
nag-grieve talaga siya.
Tsaka kasi nag-load na ako eh. So sa paa ko, alam na ng paa ko, ready tayo. Half marathon tayo ng December 15. Ay, 15 ba ako? Basta anyway. Day that I texted my coach na, Coach, game na. Prepare na tayo. Was also the day na nag-message sa akin yung piano people from Phillips School saying that our recital is December 14. So, tapos parang conflict talaga sa akin kasi naka-load na ako, nakapag-prepare na ako. But I couldn't forget that Philip said that the reason why he wanted to do this is because he wants to overcome his stage fright.
Oh.
He
I
could have
mean-
done online kasi.
Yeah.
May online option,
And then he chose the real, like,
Yeah.
physical one.
Yeah.
which
Live.
is very rare. Or,
Very, very
for
rare. So I
him.
just knew na I needed to be there. Like, I don't want to get to a point someday na parang, all of them were there. My papa, my brother, but my mama wasn't there because she was racing. Ganon, di ba? Pero, hindi naman ako makadiretso sa, hindi, wala lang to, ganyan.
Yeah.
I needed to really feel that
Feel.
for myself.
Yeah.
Relieve ko yun. And I do remember now na parang when I had counseling therapy once, na parang tinanong ako ng counselor ko, have you grieved many things in your life? Sabi ko, like what? Kasi inisip ko, di ba, pag namatayan ka
Loss,
lang
oo.
mag-grieve, ganyan. Sabi niya, like, your loss of independence when you became a mom. Sabi ko, oh my gosh, may ganun pala. So I didn't really realize na may loss is beyond just like losing like people to death. Diba? It's losing nga your independence,
Yeah.
transition, like
Yes.
losing a community, like from this community to another, or like basically wala ka pang community because you lost that when you moved. All of that pala, you grieve.
Yeah.
And so I make it a practice now na even those little things that I want for myself, I would grieve. And also because it's honoring myself.
Yeah.
Kasi usually nga, you get lost in the process na human na nga ako, may anak pa ako.
Yeah.
Parang I need to really honor
Yeah.
na, uy, may gusto ka rin.
Yeah.
Yun.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Ganda.
Sobrang gets ko yung pagiging
Mommy.
I'm so, alam mo yung natural for us to be like, oh, kailangan martyr ka sa lahat. And ulirang ina, like, bigyan mo ng award yan kasi everything she does is for her kids and her family, blah, blah. And it's like, you will really burn out. And talagang your cup will not be full enough to, share with your children and your family. And yeah, I always say you have to fill up your cup kasi
Yeah.
it's iba. It is like a long game, right?
Actually, kaya nga natitrigger ako minsan sa mga Instagram reels. We'll get to that. Like, what reels annoy you? For me, for a time, in my 30s, early 30s, it was like, hindi pa kasi ganun ka-crazy yung reels eh. So like, when someone said, this is the morning routine you have to do to survive. This is the morning routine you need to do.
16 supplements.
Oh my God, wake up at 4 in the morning? Shit. Diba? So I'm like, okay.
If you can't do this, you're
You're
useless.
useless,
Yeah.
right? So, but now,
You'll
as a
never
parent
succeed.
naman, ako ngayon, yung love ko, yung mga, tapos this moment's gonna last. Not gonna last. Kanya ako lagi,
Give them what they
oh my
want.
God, shit. Oo nga. So, I like it kasi it prompts me to, okay, shit, okay, alam ko stress, pero okay. What I don't like is, this is why, like, parang, this is the only way to feed your toddler. Or this is the
correct.
only way to parent.
Yeah. This is the five things you're doing wrong.
Wrong. Ako like, parang, sorry. Like, sorry. Parang, you spend a lot of time taking a video and lighting this up na, putting quality, like, this is the way to feed your toddler. Kasi I'm the one who cooks at home for the kids. So ako like, parang, naman to, parang magsisteam ka ng asparagus. Ako like, really?
Who has the time to steam?
Diba? So, ako, yun yung nakaka-trigger sa akin. So, anyway.
What about you
Hanash.
guys?
Hindi, pero alam mo, sasabihin ko nga na medyo mahirap din talagang magbabad social media-wise.
Yep.
Kasi nga, parang marami silang, ito palagi yung naiisip as a parent, na / content creator din, di ba? Influencer. Kasi nakikita ko yung ibang influencer. Ito naman yung sa akin, personal. Na wow, ganda ng shot niya. Wow, nagawa niya to sa ganito, whatever, sa place na yan.
Yeah.
Tapos, ang dami niya talagang time para i-edit to. Na parang, nafe-feel mo na you're kind of like pressured to
Yeah.
produce the same thing.
Yeah.
Without really realizing, I don't have the same situation. Like, I have 2 kids, I homeschool, I only have 1 staff in the house. I don't live a life like theirs. They don't have kids. Alam mo yun? Parang, sobrang dami nilang time.
I
Diba,
can't
alam
believe you're
natin
saying
yan?
this because your content is like top tier.
No!
I swear. It's so, that's what I think about you. I was like, oh my gosh, ang galing niya mag-document and mag-edit.
Hindi, magaling ako mag-document.
Yeah.
Nakaka-edit din ako. But
Yeah.
wait, di ba? I mean, let's face it. Nag-iba na yung game right
Yeah,
now.
iba na. Iba
Diba?
na.
Like, I feel
cinematography.
Good ako. Oo, di ba?
Diba? Parang wow.
Christopher
Anong
Nolan on the
camera yung
phone.
ginamit
Color
and stuff,
grading.
ganyan. So parang, I feel, not naman insecure, but I feel like, am I lagging behind because I can't go there anymore? But always, when I look at my kids, I would rather lose that than them.
Yes.
So there's always that conflict every day in me to like, well, it costs you something.
Yeah.
Ulirang ina. Charot.
I know, di ba? But also, for me, I don't really do it just because ulirang ina. Kasi feeling ko, ako rin yung masasabi.
Yeah.
Parang, na-foresee ko na, if i-choose ko yun, happy ako today. Pero, eventually, doon na babagsak lahat sa akin.
Yes.
Lahat ng costs
Yeah.
of having that.
Yeah.
We,
agree.
as people na ma-outdoors rin, one of the content that we like about that is, alam mo yun, yung content creators on a hike. Have you seen that? So they shows them like in a mad scramble to set up the camera, na
Yes.
pawis.
Yes.
And then they go far away.
Yes.
And then they walk, and then
I
it's
love that.
beautiful
Slow motion.
music and voice over. Na they're so contemplative.
Exactly.
Parang-
Tapos kami, yung kumakain ng lupa yung anak ko, gano'n. Ba't gano'n yung content ko?
Because you guys are super into camping. Grabe. That's
You know what? what I love on my reels are like these CVC Iceland guy who like just puts like,
I love him. He's so funny.
Yung mga
He's- I
fish
know
and
him.
ano.
ano yun si Alaskan well, mga ganon yung mga
Yes,
lalagay ng
I
fish sa ganun
agree.
sa bato
Oo.
tapos gagawa ng dough sa bato.
Oo.
In fairness naman, like kaya ako walang siyang bullshit, like it's just like I wanna
I think we need to remember that social media is inherently performative.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you try not to be, you are. You
Yes.
posted it eh,
Yes.
diba? So, I'm not saying nothing's authentic there.
Yeah.
I think that's where we connect when we met in that bar.
Yeah.
Diba na, hey, these are people. Even naman before that, I guess we could feel when we would see their content
Yeah.
that these are people who are posting but are doing their best.
Oh, yeah.
And even that posting is an acknowledgement na I know I'm posting this. I know I'm trying to be authentic, but hey, maybe I'm not, you know, because I posted it, you know, and it's not like this off cam. It's not like this offline. And I think if we know that consuming and posting it, it would be way better for everybody else.
Yeah.
Kasi if we're comparing, yun nga, yung I feed my kids this, no way, nagpamakdo ka kanina. Promise, for sure. Imposible hindi.
Grabe naman. Baka hindi na tayo ma-sponsor ng McDo.
Because we do. You know, I want to be healthy. I want to be healthy. Fries. Diba? Get them fries. Sasaya sila dyan.
Healthy, pero pag spaghetti.
Unless you have 10, you've got 10 people cooking for you
Yes.
behind the
Yeah.
scenes.
That's another
Yeah.
thing na pinag-uusapan namin. Kasi so we have not only social media, we have friends na parang ang healthy ng buhay. Tapos
We
parang
super
kami,
love them.
Oh
We
my
learn
gosh.
so much from them.
nakakahiya naman yung diet natin. Parang, sige, try natin. Di namin magawa. Na-realize namin, pagpunta namin sa bahay
Sinasabayan
nila.
namin sila eh.
Oo. Pagpunta namin sa bahay na, 6 naman pala yung helper nila. Tayo isa lang, ano ka ba? Totoo na tayo. Talagang delata muna tayo some days. Ganon.
But what was
that's
so cool
nice.
about them is, because they have more privilege than us in that sense. Or how do you quantify privilege? Because they also had tough childhoods. But sila naman, they help us. So they're like, as
They're
much
not
as
bad, They're really not bad.
as much as you can, sabayan nyo yung grocery namin. Parang ganon.
Yes.
So, kami naman, lumulugar kami na kung kaya, yes. Pag hindi, tanggapin natin, dito tayo.
It's
Diba?
good knowing like your capacity to be able to give rent to your
Yes.
family.
Yeah.
how do you not go beyond like over the fence of like we're just old people complaining about like parang that's the thing like in
Yeah.
any field.
Oh my
It's-
gosh. Remember when we were all younger
Yeah.
and then it's always like, oh my God, sino tong old people who are like so
Yeah,
toxic
yeah,
and
yeah.
inggit? Like, we don't want to be that, right? Like, how do we stop ourselves from
I
being
think
that?
let's find the old people who aren't like that.
Yeah.
Because there are people like that. In fact, last year, one of our biggest joys was to stumble into a group of friends who were like that. And we totally not in the cards for us, not in our radar, not in our plans, not in our faith goals, prayer list, whatever you want to use, diba? We didn't have that, but we ran into them, and that's why we started camping with them more. And honestly, it's almost like we're observing them like anthropologists, like we're anthropologists watching them, like taking
Right,
notes
oo,
at these lolos and lolas, like gaganyan tayo pag
Oh,
lolo.
as in like mga 70-year-old na katabi kong nag-snorkeling.
Wow.
Yung, tita, nandito ka pala, ganyan. And, I think the spirit also is like never imposing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, they're always around us, giving us food like a normal tita,
We
right?
can share our study notes on them. Diba? We took notes on them.
Totoo ba?
No, but they're very curious.
Siguro nung younger days namin, ganyan talaga kami. Lahat inaaral namin, notes namin.
But they're-
Nagkaanak kami, hindi na kaya.
They're very curious people. Very open. So they're not like condescending.
I like that.
When they
Yes.
talk to us, they're not like, alam na namin yan. In fact, they're always like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What's that? And then we share. And then when they share, we're like, ano ka na, ba't pa ako nauna magsalita? Ang dami mo palang experience and
Yes.
wisdom.
Those are
Yes.
yun ang favorite naming people
Old people,
talaga.
yeah.
Actually curious
Yung hindi
people.
know it all.
Yeah.
Hindi
I
yung,
love
alam na
curious
namin,
people.
nung panahon ko wala namang ganyan eh.
And
That's
also,
so annoying. Like, hindi mo na panahon, di ba? Wala namang ganyan dati. Lalo na yung mga lahat ng parenting stuff ngayon. Wala namang bata naman kayo, wala namang ganyan eh. Okay, hindi na eh. Iba na ngayon eh, di ba? Pwedeng, so I like the curiosity concept. And I'm so proud of myself na I'm super, alam mo yung clip ni Kamala Harris, the one who's like, I love Gen Z. I love Gen Z. She always says that. I am very curious about like, wow,
Yeah,
they're making a
yeah.
change in this world. And
Yes.
let's not be angry that
Yeah,
the world is
yeah.
changing.
Yeah.
And that, like,
Agree.
it's
Kaya-
changing for the better.
So,
Sabi ko
kumari
weekend.
ako, as an employer now, before when I had corporate jobs, right? Ako kasi, nung time ko, if you quit your job, parang, okay, no chance
Yeah.
in life.
Yeah.
Ganon.
You're the worst.
You're the worst.
Oh my gosh, medyo time natin talaga
Talaga,
yan.
grabe.
Even ikaw, ayaw mo mag-quit kasi parang feeling mo, it will be the end of the world.
Yung resume ko, like, yun lang inisip ko. Like,
You can't have a gap.
you
No
can't have a
gaps.
gap.
Yeah, yeah.
No gap. Patay ka. Wala na. No chance.
Correct.
So, every time I tried to at least, I couldn't express it nung time na yun na technically, oh my God, I'm depressed. I don't like this company. I'm sad. And then I kept quitting. So, I was one of the first na ganun. So, every time na here, like, we have Gen Z na, a lot of Gen Z who come in and out. Like, sometimes meron akong mga all-out ghost. Like, parang ganda ng interview. Like, oh my God, you're hired. Tapos biglang next day,
Wala
parang,
na.
hi, where are you? Wala. Never, no reply ever. So, but ako, I don't,
Nung una na-shock ka pa na parang, wow.
Nung na-shock ako. Pero, I don't see it as, I guess that's how I'm ending the cycle. Na instead of using na, kasi obviously my bosses before were like, ganito kami.
Yeah.
Agree.
Baka ka mag-absent.
And that's why you feel that tension because that's what you had. So you're like, there's a voice
Yes.
in my head telling me, this guy's a quitter.
Dapat ganito. Dapat ganito. This generation is ganyan. So even when like I talk to some people and like when they say like, ano talaga no? Grabe talaga yung mga Gen Z. Mari ganyan. I'm like, well, I wouldn't want na like people talking about me nung time na yun na, grabe talaga to, depressed. Diba? Parang
Quit ng quit. Problema niya.
Parang depressed, diba?
I know.
Oh my
I
God.
guess for me, it's funny that we talk about this. You know my family, right? And mas friends niya kasi yung mga 10 years younger than me, sila Nika,
Yes.
right?
Love them.
Because I had them very early on in life. Para na akong mabilis ako naging tita. Bata pa lang ako, tita na ako. Ganyan. Parang, ang unfair naman, God. Parang,
Because you're Tarix, right?
yes, exactly. So, but also, the benefit of that for me is always having somebody younger around me. And I always found them cool. And I was like, alam mo, ba't ako makikinig sa sarili ko? Mas cool sila. So parang feeling ko, ever since, may fascination ako for younger people. I always think that younger people know better than me.
Oh.
And even when I hire, like say content creation and stuff, I always make sure that they're not my age. I want them to be younger than me because I
Ageism.
know.
Joke. Just kidding.
Lahat na lang no? Lahat na lang.
Internalized ageism.
Ano na lang po ba yung pwede? But yeah, kasi feeling
That's so
ko,
cool.
lalo na, parang kailangan mo lang din kasing ilugar yung sarili mo. I'm already 43. Definitely, Instagram is not my first language when it comes to content creation, right? I was a TV girl. I did films. And this digital thing is new to me.
Yeah.
But there is a generation that already knows it. Like they grew up with it. It's like, just super natural to them. Why will I trust myself more than I would trust a generation that grew up with it, 'di ba? So parang sa akin, trust ko na 'yan sa inyo, message ko pa rin. Parang collab siya talaga.
Guys, this sounds so much like what, I'm sorry to go there, but it sounds like what we should have in the government.
Yes,
Diba?
go there.
Diba? Parang,
Sige, let's go there.
parang, guys, hindi nyo alam lahat. Hindi kailangan kung ano yung kanalakihan nyo na sistema.
Yeah,
Parang
yeah.
pwede namang baguhin.
Yeah.
Oh my God, sorry. Sorry.
This is my
Super,
longest
agree,
rant
agree.
on the podcast, which is officially our neighbor na. The PBA, okay? The Philippine Basketball Association I have a long rant with this. Now, they are the epitome of horrible branding, horrible brand building, dinosaur culture. Now you have these
Ageism.
you have these that you have these
Speciesism.
ultra lolos, not even titos, ultra lolos saying, ano bang marketing pare? Ganon, yung ganon. Anyway,
Basta nandun na yung pare, alam mo na eh. Alam na, ages mo na.
So I wanted to ask, like as a pastor,
Oh my
and
gosh,
you
okay.
built a church, right?
Yeah.
So hindi ka ba kasi like, hindi ka ba na-pressure na like, hindi ka ba like, wala ka bang skateboard na, hey,
Oh,
Or
Like,
motor,
let's
di
see.
ba?
Oh,
Yung ganyan.
I'm a-
yan.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Yeah,
Parang
hey
ganon.
fellow kids.
hey, or like,
Yeah, I
hi,
love
I'm a
that.
Gen
So,
Z pastor.
Ang galing nga eh. Nung sinabi niya, I'm gonna bring this to the government, napunta siya sa PBA, sabi ko, alam mo, applicable to sa lahat. Church, go.
Oh, church,
Church.
yes.
So I wanted to talk about that actually, like
I
building
think-
your own
Changing
church.
it up also, right?
Yeah, but I think I've been thinking about this whole time we were talking, how you started this whole conversation. And you said normal human being.
Mhm.
And I think back to moms being martyr, trying to be superhuman, content influencers trying to be on top of every trend. These old people that we've connected to last year, they're just normal human beings. So they're in time, they're in space, they're in their bodies. So when pag sumasakit yung mga buto nila, sinasabi nila sa amin. One thing we noticed is when we go camping with them, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back to it. No? Dahil matanda na sila, they let their son lead. And so, it's so amusing to us because we're on a radio, a shortwave radio. This is 15-car convoy.
Wow.
And then they're talking. And then late at night, pag inaantok naman, let's say 3 a.m., you've been driving 6 hours, everyone's sleepy. The mom and the son will start talking on the radio. And yung anak, sinisermon niya yung nanay niya. Naiyak ka naman kasi, ma, eh. Parang ganon. Yung, like pleasantly, in a
yeah,
playful, fun
Jovial,
way.
very jovial. Yeah.
But we took notes, the two of us. We were like, see, pag matanda na tayo, we will let our sons lead. Diba? Let them go first. Hindi yung tayo nakaalam ng lahat. The dad is like, we used to be in the army, so very competent. Pero pag may problema siya sa kotse, anak, paano ba to?
Yes.
And so his son steps into this leadership role that fits him. And we've all been in those situations, diba? We've had older bosses who are like, ako na kasi.
Yes.
Diba? Parang huhulaan ko pa yung mood mo. Mali ka naman, diba? Kaya ko na to eh. And I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
So just be a normal human being.
Right.
Age with your age, diba?
That's so beautiful.
And that's okay because there's other people, you know.
Yes.
So even for us as a church, what we've embraced is our limitations. We've embraced like it's not ideal. Our church is on the 3rd floor. It's not PWD friendly because there's no elevator. So I've had friends who are like, I want to go, but I can't walk all the way up those stairs. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I wish we were. But great news, there's other churches nearby that are PWD friendly, and you can go there, and we can still be friends. So, yun, I think I apologize a lot. Na sorry, no, 41 kasi kung mali ako dito. And it's great. I've had young people come up to me and say, you were really off when you said that.
Yeah.
I know it might mean something different from your generation, but this just really feels wrong to us. And oh gosh, I didn't know.
And would that ever happen in their previous churches? Like if you
No,
talk
you
to-
can open up and call them out.
Different responses from different people. So
But usually, I guess, and we're not saying this na ganito lang kasi yung church namin, but I feel like it's a whole thing in the sense na parang there was a generation before us that really believed that the adults knew better.
Yes.
And that you should respect them, that you shouldn't talk back, and that when they talk, you just listen, you don't
Yes.
really contribute
Yeah.
or anything. So,
Nakakatanda
hindi siya
po.
church lang eh.
Yeah.
Lahat nga, gobyerno, di ba?
Yes,
PBA,
yes.
church, ganun yung ugali eh.
corporations. Oo.
No,
So,
don't ask any
corporations-
questions.
Oo.
Exactly. So, I think nandun din ang religious sector in the
Yeah.
sense na we're redefining a lot of these things kasi natututo tayo
Mm-mm.
na hindi pala effective yung ganun. At tinanggal din namin yung pressure sa amin kasi like us, ang experience namin first of church is that when you're a leader, perfect ka.
Yes.
Dapat nagawa
Wait,
mo
so hindi
ng
kayo
tama.
perfect?
Oh my
Hindi,
gosh.
alis na kami.
Hindi pa. Sige.
Mauna na kami.
Show
Hindi
yourself
kami
out.
perfect.
Yun dapat yung ano eh.
Kukunin namin yung iba, baka may mas perfect.
Biglang si Jim nagsisenyas na, I think there's been a mistake.
Cut pa natin.
Hindi, pero alam nyo, sobrang freeing yon sa amin.
Mm-mm.
Kasi dati, akala namin, kailangan role model ka, ganyan. So, you're also trying so hard to keep yourself intact and like really,
God.
seamless
Yeah.
in the eyes of everyone. And it's only a matter of time before you find out that's not possible.
So like last Sunday, our soon to be 11-year-old son had a big disagreement with me at church. So the guy playing keyboards that Sunday is this amazing keyboardist, super skilled. And I was just on a high, like, dude, you were killing it earlier. And my son's learning piano. Parang as a dad, I just want to connect you. You know what I mean? It was not bragging on him.
Nakorek ka nga pala niya.
Ni Philip. So I said, hey, your keyboardist, what do you practice? He starts telling us na be careful with your finger exercises. Some are premature for developing hands. And Rica and I were like, oh wow, you should make a TikTok, diba? You would be
Spoken like an undiagnosed. Ano talaga?
no, this is really good, diba? We need to know this. And then ako on that flow, because I'm connecting with the keyboardist, she's flowing. Our son walks up. Our son is 11 years old. He just had his first recital. He's turning 11. And Philip's like so angry.
Oh.
Because we've been there. We've been there where the adults talk about us and we feel like our whole personal life was just opened up in public. And I wasn't ready. It's not necessarily wrong or objective. I just wasn't ready. And that's my stuff. Don't just open my stuff. So he was so mad. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I felt like a 20% part of me going, nutulungan nga kita eh. Diba? Parang, I could
Yun na, yun
feel
na.
that.
Yeah, that's it.
I could feel that na parang, you know what? I'm opening connections for you that you would never have on your own. Ano bang ginagawa niyo mga kaibigan niyo? Roblox lang kayo dyan. Diba? Tapos, I'm connecting you to a world-class pianist and you don't even, galit ka pa sa akin. That was 20%.
Oh my God.
That was a louder voice before. Thankfully, it's not as much. And I just said, Philip, I'm so sorry.
Oh.
You're right. You can talk to him. Ano. And then we were walking because he was mad na. So I said, sorry. Then when he calmed down a bit, I dug a bit deeper. Sabi ko, Philip, I don't want to do that again. Can you help me understand what was painful about that? What was off? Because here's where I was coming from, but I can see that I did something wrong.
Oh.
Then he said, I want to talk about it when I want to talk about it.
Oh.
Okay, how do you feel when I talk about it? Like I'm a little kid again.
Oh.
And you get to decide everything for me. You're right. I can see how you would feel that way. And I'll let you talk about it on your own time.
Oh.
And if you want, you can go back to Tito Chris whenever you want. Na lang. Okay. Tapos that night before sleeping, every once in a while, kasi lumalaki na siya eh. So dinaganan ko siya na parang yung gigil lang. Then I said, I was so proud of you today because you pushed back and you told me something that was important to you. And I really appreciate you for not hiding it because I don't want to hurt you like that. And so the fact that you spoke up is actually, you're loving me this way. So I'm so proud of you and thankful that I have a son who pushed back.
Yeah. And trusting you that
Yeah.
he's safe to speak
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
diba?
Kasi he could have gotten the,
Yeah.
"Psst, drama mo naman. Di ba? He could have
Well,
gotten
we used to be like that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, right now, we're really repairing so much with our firstborn also because we did
Super.
so many things that were wrong when he was much younger.
Yeah.
Kasi nga nandun pa kami sa parang, you need to teach them. You need to make them this way, that way. And you weren't really thinking na, there's this child in front of you that you need to honor also kasi he is his own person.
Exactly.
Hindi siya parang, okay, I just need to put everything on you, which was the belief before, di ba na? Ikaw ang gagawa sa
Yeah.
bata na yan.
Yes.
But when we shifted our perspective to, this kid is his own.
Yes.
Like, he has his own path. And God designed him differently from us. Maybe he got some parts from us. But as a new being, hindi siya completely me. Hindi siya completely Joe. So we have to respect that and draw that out of him. Instead of us just
Yes.
putting it
Imposing.
on. Oo, imposing everything on
And we
him.
weren't being normal humans kasi.
Yeah, we were.
When you don't let yourself be a normal, you don't let other people be normal humans. Because ako nga, di ba, I'm doing all of this. So
Yes.
the least you could do is not spill
Yes.
your water. The
So
least you
we're
could do
hard
is...
on ourselves, hard on him too.
I like that idea of normal human beings being like people who feel, people who make
Yes.
mistakes. So
Sino bang hindi?
Diba? Parang, kasi hindi naman tayo Tamagotchi. Well, Tamagotchi nga, may mood swings rin sila eh.
Tamagotchi nga
Diba?
nagki-care ka.
Tumatay
Diba?
nga eh.
Tumatay nga siya hindi nga siya namatay sa toilet eh.
Kasi sorry, namatay yung Tamagotchi ni Sab.
Hindi ko Tamagotchi, kay Vito yun.
How old was it na?
No, I just got it
Oh,
itong
no.
December.
Oh, no, you
Oh,
should-
wow.
And then nakakatawa kasi I got it for my son. And then ngayon, nadagdagan ako ng aalagaan. Kasi ano ba to?
Hindi
Diba?
inaalagaan ni Vito.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so
I
yeah.
like, can you share though, connected to that, is what Sab shared before was like how the reason why we're protective, because I don't know if you guys went through this. I struggled nung una yung mag-hi ka kay
Oh, yeah.
Oh
tita.
my gosh.
Kasi, di ba growing
Hug,
up, it was
kiss
like,
them.
it was like, kung hindi ka nag-hi sa tita na yan, bastos ka.
Yeah.
Pag-uusapan ka.
Yeah.
Whatever, ikaw yung bastos. So, when we do that, ang ganda lang ng what Sab shared na we are actually protecting our kids
Yeah.
from the scolding. When we scold, like,
Yeah.
say hi. It's because we're like, oh my God, papagalitan ka.
Yes.
Because napagalitan
Ye-
tayo for that
yes,
before.
yes.
Right.
So if they're being kids at the restaurant and then like
Mm.
you snap because like, "Uy, quiet." It's not because you're
That's so
angry at
good.
them.
That's so
you're
good.
you're thinking you're protecting them out of love.
Right.
Because baka mas sigawan sila ng iba.
Yeah.
Kasi
Tapos ang nangyayari is ikaw yung sisigaw sa kanila. And that's like,
Yes.
no. There's
Because
a
fear.
way. Yeah.
There's a fear there.
Right.
There's a way to teach them without, just telling them like, shut up and just listen. Because parang it's a whole, I think that's a whole different.
what you're describing there also is the difficulty of unlearning.
Yes.
Kasi, mas madaling matuto lang eh.
Yeah.
Na okay, new to me,
Yeah.
can learn it.
Mm-mm.
But to unlearn, there's
Yes.
already something there.
Super.
And you need to erase that to
Ah.
make space for the new.
Yeah.
And it's so strong. Yung
Yeah.
kapit sa atin,
Mm-mm.
buong buhay natin na rinig yun eh.
Sobra.
So inuulit lang talaga natin sa kanila. Kaya nga
Sobra.
minsan, I really feel so bad
Yeah.
when I do it. Kasi alam ko naman, my mind's like, you shouldn't have done
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But it's like reflex because your entire life, you
Yep.
were wired that way. And so, many times, I just really find myself na I need to trust
Yeah.
that the way I healed is like a sign that my kids can also heal
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
whatever that, I'm doing today na hindi okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kasi sigurado ako nasigawan ko na yan.
Mm-mm.
Naging unfair na ako dyan. Parang kailangan ko lang maging totoo sa sarili ko na, give me a break. I'm also trying to be this kind of
Yes.
mom for the first time.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure I got it wrong
Yeah.
somewhere there. And one day, if this already is unearthed in the child, kailangan ko lang maging handa
Yeah.
na I'll face it na pasensya ka na talaga, mali ako.
That's the beauty of it, that you can always repair. It's never too late to say
Yes,
sorry for
yes.
anything. Kasi kung may nagawa kang, something that you're not proud of, then there's no shame in saying sorry for
Yeah.
like you explain why you did it and that wasn't the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of healing, Jim, you were telling me about like your trauma about religion when you were a kid.
okay.
Yan, isa pa yan,
Yeah,
ha?
yun.
Nung tumatanda tayo,
Actually,
thing yan eh.
I wanna, ano
Yeah,
nga,
you're going to hell
for the
if you
people who are,
if you do, I don't know ba.
for the people who are listening and don't know, okay, so, si Joe and Rica have a church called No Other Name.
Yeah.
And I personally, Sab can attest to this. Every night while I'm putting my facial toner and moisturizer,
Shout out to Keels.
yeah,
Kills Buchanan.
I put
Baka
toner,
naman.
by the way, pinapunta ako ni Sab sa Belo, tapos parang decide ko, okay, ano yun? Ano yung tawag
my
doon?
God.
Parang,
Is
ocular.
he more?
Consultation.
Ocular.
Sorry,
Ginawa.
assessment.
Shooting.
Consultation.
Consultation.
Binibili mo na ba yung belo or something? Or was
Ito. So after the thing, they give me the thing. Like, sabi ko, okay, I feel so pretty kasi you're there. And may parang kang nasa airport lounge, di ba? So whatever. So they do this. Oh, so you need this. You need that. Tapos ako, okay, great. Okay, so after, they give me the
bills?
Quotation.
this is what you need. This is what you need. Ito yung quotation ng contractor. Tapos pagtingin ko like, oh my God, parang 26,000 para sa cream.
No more.
ganun.
For
Tas-
one treatment?
Not even treatment. It's a cream.
Jim, you gotta stop because I am a bello.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So, kanina.
Well, I'm not. So anyway, I was like,
Wait, ang ending dito is, sa sobrang ganda daw, binili mo.
binili ko. Ay, hindi yung 26,000. Binili ko yung, ano yung pinakakaya kong, ano yun dito. Anyway, so as I'm doing my nighttime, so I do my toner, I do my moisturizer, yung sobrang mahal na Bello thing, na hindi ko alam kung ano siya. Exfoliant. Whatever. I'm listening to the podcast. No other name. And the reason why I love it is it's the first time that I've actually listened to something that helped me connect with God. That was not, that I felt like it was like I was listening to a breakdown of Lord of the Rings or an episode of Succession.
Grabe.
Ganon.
Kikiligin yung mga anak.
So I like that there's this nerdism, and it actually led me down a rabbit hole. By the way, Saab knows this.
Which one?
I've been watching a lot of these like historical stuff, like about like the Bible.
Nice.
So anyway, the reason why I'm sharing this is because I grew up with this image. Okay, every time I do something, God is up there like, tangina.
Santa Claus yan.
Gago ka.
Naughty.
Okay.
Ka-level.
Okay, konti na lang. Susunugin na kita. Ganyan.
Tuloy mo yan. Sige.
Ganyan.
Isa pa.
Subukan mo ko.
So like, and then I remember like, okay, it was very technical,
Yeah.
right? Like, if I miss church, oh shit, 10 points yan. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh,
So-
you haven't seen you guys see The Good Place?
No,
It's
no.
very, never mind.
No. So, all my life, it was that. Miss church, you're dead. Study this, you can't contest this.
Yeah.
And I would go to Sunday Mass talagang like the whole time. And again, I don't wanna parang some people connect to it. I personally just didn't.
Yeah.
Like I just grew up that way.
Yeah.
And with fear.
Mm.
So I think this was the first time na kasi we had our experience, right? Na personally, yun yung first connection ko with God.
Birth trauma, yeah.
Birth trauma. You wanna... Sorry. No.
Yeah, no, I mean, what you're talking about is what like a really traumatic experience of losing a child. And so I feel like that's the turning point of our spirituality, I would say.
Yeah.
Parang, and even when that happened, I was thinking like, so I was there. So what happened pala, by the way, was so Saab was in the ICU, Pancho was in the ICU. Saab was in the ICU for 14 days. Pancho was in the ICU for 70 days. So I was going back and forth.
Yeah, you had to be the one.
And Saab kept bleeding and no one knew why. So doctor for Saab side would come to me and say, hindi pa rin namin alam. It's day 3. Hindi pa rin namin alam. Hopefully it's this. Tapos ako, oh my God, okay. Punta na naman ako kay Pancho. Doctor, there's another complication. Hindi namin alam, pero hintay. So ganun lang ako ng ganun. And then I think in that moment, when like I was given a bunch of novenas and stuff, which I think helped me in a way na at least I could, kind of find focus on those things. After that, the whole time nung nangyayari yun, I still kept thinking, oh my God, ito pala yun. Because I stopped going to mass, because
What?
this was it.
This is your
Ito
fault.
pala.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so parang, and I think may psychological thing rin. Like, medyo na ako, like, oh, maybe it was that time na, God is punishing me because there was this, may pulubi na naghingi and hindi ko binigyan.
I agree.
That's horrible.
Yeah, I
Ganon.
understand.
So I was in this, and even after that, so even when we got home, so we found, Pancho was diagnosed with cerebral palsy and Saab was grieving every night. I was like, okay, I cannot stop doing the things that I did to get us home. Because if I stop, yayariin na naman ako. So for the longest time, until nga recently na I started listening to your podcast, I had that. So when I finally, for the first time, kasi there was a time na, okay, if I don't read the Bible, okay, baka may magkakasakit tonight.
Grabe.
Ganon. So, but when I started like listening while I was doing my toner stuff, I was like, and it became kaya ko sinasabi na it became a succession, deep dive. It became a kind of thing like that. I was like, oh, I'm not feeling obligated, but I'm learning.
You're connecting.
You're actually enjoying.
I'm connecting.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
learning. And that's what helped me. So anyway, haba ng intro ko.
But man, that
So
No, I think it's very good that you shared that
yeah.
because a lot of people go through it.
Yeah.
As people who have been with others who are seeking, God and all, this is so common.
Mm.
You really hear it from people how they just connect God as that Santa nga, naughty, nice. Ano ba? Sige, dito sa listahan. Parang ganon, which
Yeah.
shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Like someone who's really very angry and disappointed at you all the time.
Yeah. I'm fascinated that you say it started with that terrible,
Yeah.
ordeal, that health crisis. And kasi, I keep going back to your starting words, normal human being. We are, di ba? We're very much in time, in space, in flesh, di ba? No matter how noble you are, matatae ka rin, di ba? Parang ganun. So, we're very human. And yet, we can't escape this sense of the transcendent. Something beyond this, beyond just eating and drinking and all of those things. And sometimes that comes through beauty, like nature. That comes through intense feelings like love, like being a parent. But it can also come through tragedy. Because, if we take an overly physical view of this, parang people get sick. Diba? People, birthing naman has a mortality. Ano ba yun? You can't be too, ano bang tawag doon?
Scientific. Yeah.
Or but then there's this level of pain or a depth that
Yeah.
your soul went to, that your mind went to, that you're like, okay, this is not just,
That's exactly what he told me. He said, a normal human being cannot take this pain
Right.
without the help of some
Right.
higher being.
Right.
And that's why that worked for him.
yeah, kasi I forgot to mention that. That's when I felt divinity.
Right.
And I can't, because I would go into Saab's ICU and I'd smile. I would laugh with her, I'd make jokes.
that's nuts.
Tapos balik na naman ako kay Pancho. Just after hearing the doctor saying, hindi ko pa rin alam. Going to Pancho and then singing to him in his incubator. And then parang sabi ko, ako to eh.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that would not, binilikan ako ng mga girlfriend ko kasi gusto kong manood ng Harry Potter buong araw. Ayokong lumabas ng bahay. I want to be comfortable. I want to be
Watching your Metro Walk DVDs.
I want to go to Metro Walk, bibili ako ng DVD, bibili ako scented candles. Yun lang gagawin ko. Ayokong makita yung girlfriend ko, ayokong makita yung barkada ko.
Oh my God.
I just want to be here and watch Harry Potter.
And be comfortable.
And be comfortable. So, in the ultimate uncomfortable situation,
Yes.
who was this person? I didn't even
Yeah,
recognize
yeah.
myself. So and it obviously that was the turning point.
Yeah.
But the next turning point I needed was how do I
Screw this up.
How do I improve this
Yeah, yeah.
relationship? Parang,
Right.
bakit ba parang takot pa rin ako?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why I wanted to ask actually, so you guys building this church, okay? It came also from
Some hurt.
a hurt, right? A trauma
Yeah.
or something.
Actually, how funny that you would talk about this now, no? Because just this morning, I was talking to some of my friends, and I was telling them how, just to me, na parang like you, I feel like every single thing, not naman all the time, but it still comes back. So I don't know if it's still like that for you, no? Parang meron kang fear nga na ganon. Hindi mo actually napapansin na you're living out of fear.
Yeah.
Kasi, di ba,
Yeah.
fear kind of like redirects you. Kunwari mo,
So
ito, sobrang nakakatawa yung example ko sa ipis. Ang feeling ko may ipis dyan, hindi ako dadaan dyan. Ganon. So, ganon din tayo in life. Parang, kung ito, feeling ko masasaktan ako dyan, hindi ako dadaan dyan. By all means, I will do another thing just so I don't. So, you just don't notice that a lot of your decisions in life are driven by fear. And so I feel like now every time that there's something goes wrong, feeling ko it's because I went against some people in our church.
The new church or
In before.
The old church.
From before. I mean, like, I didn't really get along with everyone there. And I was speaking my mind about a lot of things. And sometimes I blame myself when I get something that's really painful today. Parang kunwari mo, nagkasakit kami, ganyan, nagkasakit, or like, hindi ko nakuha to, or ang
May
hirap ng buhay
TMJ.
ko, TMJD ko. Kasi hindi ka hindi ka nalang nag-agree sa lahat ng sinabi nila. Parang ganyan. So, and I know it's wrong. I know it's really not right, but it's just so ingrained in us that a relationship with God is like that. It's like, it's not unconditional.
Tit for tat.
It's actually conditional. Sumunod ka sa akin, blessed ka. Pero what does that show you ba? Like when that happened to you, when you actually felt that strongest connection with Him, was at a time when you weren't being perfect and you weren't being enough. And I think that's a very important thing that everybody misses about connecting with God. You don't need to be perfect. Actually, in your point of brokenness, is when you actually get to meet Him. And yet, what do? We try to pa-impress kay teacher. Diba? To get the perfect grades. Thinking that this is the way to connect to Him.
Yeah.
But the way to connect to Him, I don't want to encourage you, is to have zero. Kasi kung kakausapin ka ni teacher, ba't ka zero, diba? Pero, hindi siya kasi normal teacher. Diba? Tayo, normal human being. But God is not normal human being. He's divine.
I think that's what Jesus showed. Kasi back to normal human beings, na what we believe, what the Bible captures is that God, the transcendent, became a normal human being. When we read kasi the Gospels, because of our religious background, we tend to see Jesus as floating a little bit above the ground.
Yeah.
Everything He said was pa-deep, diba? Baka may piano background pa nung nagsasalita siya. But that's us reading into the text. But when we read it, He's actually very human very normal. In fact, that's what Christian theology teaches. He was 100% human. A lot of His encounters were because He was tired or He was hungry. And He just happened to run into someone. I often think when I'm reading it, did you know you were going to run into that woman? Did you know there was a sick person there? Or were you just really tired and life happened, you know, that like our paths intersect. And yet in this very normal human being, there was evidence of the transcendent in the way He loved others, and He wasn't motivated by fear. That He was able to, give grace to people who you're messing up. Okay. I remember this one preacher, I couldn't forget, in our old church, he was saying, that time where he's being tried, he's about to be put to death, and Peter denies Him 3 times, diba? And in the Gospels, it captures that the third denial, napadaan si Jesus. They were bringing Him by, and they locked eyes. Like Peter and Jesus saw each other, and Peter was convicted. And the preacher asked this question, what was Jesus' expression when He saw Peter deny Him for the 3rd time? Remember, He had predicted that earlier. Was it, ang sabi ko sa'yo, di ba? Was it like that? Was it disappointment na, ayan para naman, di ba? Which is, and He said, the way you imagine Jesus' face is often how you think He looks at you in your point of weakness, in your point of brokenness. And let's be honest, very often that face is similar to a face a loved one in authority gave you when you were, so to me, that's it. Like, I remember my dad, like how he looked when I was 6, and then like, Joe naman, you should know better by now.
To give you a different dimension, to me, like God was and can be still, no? Because it's something that I'm continuously unlearning. Because my father was absent, I feel like God cannot be trusted. Kasi, parang, okay, kailan ka lilitaw? Diba? Parang, kailan mo kami sasaluhin? So, I need to work and work and work. Because in my head, God cannot take care of me. Because that's what I learned all my life, that my father cannot be there. So, we kind of like project that. Kung siya, ito yung look na meron si God sa kanya. Iba-iba kasi tayo
Kung ano kukuha ng
belt
Si Jesus saw
Oh,
Peter.
may belt si Jesus.
my gosh.
Ganon.
And then the preacher continued and he said, I don't think it was. I think it was kindness. I think it was, because Jesus did say, you will betray me, but I will gather you back and you will continue to lead these people. So he's like, you're gonna mess up big time, but don't worry, I have provision for that already. And then after that, that's when we see Peter get so convicted. And speaking of my dad, when I was 18, he talked to me and he said, Joe, you are very harsh with your brothers. You're very harsh to yourself. And I want you to know that's because I was very harsh with you. In fact, I deeply regret that.
Wow.
Because I can see you talk to people the way I talked to you when you were a kid.
Wow.
And then he said, it's too late for me to undo that.
Oh my God.
Because you're 18. You're ganito, parang naka-hard-baked na yan sa'yo. But God is changing me. And I want you to start talking to Him and ask Him to change you. Kumbaga, hindi ko na mababawi yan.
Yeah.
And it was so freeing for me to hear that from Him. That number one,
gosh.
acknowledgement.
That is repair.
But two, huwag mo nang hanapin sa akin. Kasi
Yeah,
too late na.
Yun
Diretso ka na
talaga.
sa Kanya.
Correct.
Wow.
And I actually have my version of that speech for our oldest son.
Aw.
And we say it in bits and pieces. I mean, he's 11, so I don't want to say naman,
Yeah.
I've screwed you up. But at 11,
I love
parang,
it.
what? I'm screwed
Kaya
up.
mo naman discover na lang niya.
It's cycle breaking, no? I
Yeah.
love it.
Ako, I keep trying. Kaya kami, like, we grew up kasi na, I don't know parang we agree here now na our parents didn't say sorry.
Yes,
For me,
oo.
or for us.
Oh,
Like,
that's
sorry
rough.
was very, I love you, wasn't even said. Because they grew up, their parents were,
It's weird for them to say
it was
Yeah.
very, very
Yeah,
weird.
yeah.
And they're not like that. So, for me, like, any chance I get, I'll say, hey, I'm sorry
Oo.
to our kids. I want them to remember na nag-sorry ako. Pero just to go back to that, I'm magiging ano kami dito ha. Medyo magiging inquisitive.
Sure,
Curious.
Sure. Basta wag lang
Ang
mat.
question, ang question ko is,
I-clarify ko lang, ako, mom ko lagi nag-I love you sa akin. So, baka magtampo siya pag narinig ito. Lagi siya nag-I love you sa akin.
nag-I love you
Tsaka
rin siya sa akin.
nakakatawa yung father figure ko naman, pag may mali akong gawin, ang sabihin niya is, tanong mo sa mama mo. So, ayun.
Paano
Gawin
yun?
nyo nga t-shirt niya. Tanong mo nga sa mama mo.
Paano yun? How would have Jesus done that?
Yun nga, so parang ako,
Dasal ka na lang.
I think ano naman ako, parang I don't have that same religious trauma, I guess. So,
Right. Correct.
but
Correct.
anyway, okay.
Yeah,
go.
that's why actually, that's where Sab and I differ. Like, she's always been comfortable. Like, kaya ako like, hindi ka nag-pray.
Mm.
Like, kasi after the trauma, lalo na, Sab's not praying. Shit. Fuck. I
My
can't,
gosh.
hindi ko mabubuhat yung bangko.
Oh
Ganon.
my gosh. That's me.
Oh.
That
That's
was him, that
when
was
I
him.
blow up at her or the kids. I'm carrying so much. Stop being so heavy.
Oh.
Just make it 1 pound lighter. Just
ganon.
that much difference.
Wow.
Hirap lang nga ako eh. Parang ganon.
And I think maybe nga, again, back to, that's how we saw our
Dads,
fathers.
Yeah. Oo.
Ano, diba? So, if I were to ask, okay, this is I've been so excited for this.
We
pod
know, yeah.
because
Kami rin. Oo.
I wanted to I've been wanting to
Years
ask
in the making.
Oo eh. Gan talaga eh.
Serious question.